Welcome to Have I Got News for You. I'm Kirsty Young. In the news this week, in South London, after a woman's husband comes home from work early, Boris Johnson's grateful for the military supplies that he snaffled on his last visit to Ukraine. Childhood footage emerges of Matt Hancock playing with his older brother, which helps to explain a lot. And in Buckinghamshire, Keir Starmer lays out exactly how he wants his Christmas cheese board to be arranged and distributed.
Wedge, wedge, wedge. Divide, divide, divide.
On Ian's team tonight is a comedian who can play the ukulele, but don't worry, we've had it written into his contract that he won't. Please welcome Phil Wang. On Paul's team tonight is an acclaimed writer and producer who was described recently by the Daily Telegraph as the hard man of political satire. Although a lot of people think that's Ian, so they'll be sorting it out in the car park a little later. Please welcome Armando Iannucci. And so we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Phil, just take a look at this.
That's Carol Singers at number 10.
Practicing for his next job.
And that's someone being deported back from Rwanda.
This is the Rwanda vote. Tory party continues to play chicken with itself over a policy it knows won't happen, and even if it did happen, wouldn't work. The UK could only send 200 people a year to Rwanda. That's not even the number of Home Secretaries we've had in a year.
Yeah, it's the end of a great week for Rishi Sunak as he emerges from the Rwanda debate with his MPs under complete control and his integrity entirely intact. The Rwanda bill was passed with no Conservative MPs actually voting against. A lot of them abstained.
It's a classic Tory revolt. It's like one of those indoor fireworks you buy. The packet says, this is going to be great, it's going to blow up, and then it goes...
And so do we know what happens next?
Yes, nothing.
They were saying, could you tighten it up? And he said it can't be tightened any further. But he did say it was already 95% watertight. So was the Titanic. Yeah. So, you know, so there's trouble ahead.
It's going to get a third reading in January. It is all actually quite complicated. Let's hear from the man in charge, who is James Cleverly, of course.
OK.
If the bill is still... if the treaty that we signed with Rwanda, in the same way that if there are treaties signed with other countries, if the treaty on which the bill... so the bill supports the treaty addresses the reasons that the Supreme Court said that they felt Rwanda at this point in time...
Yes, but the government's now passed a law that says that made sense.
Yeah.
Do any of you know what's gone down like a turd in a swimming pool?
Turd? A heavy turd.
Downing Street's rebuttal of the right-wing Tories' legal assessment of the Rwanda bill, it was seen as questioning the right's patriotism and, according to The Sun, has gone down like a turd in a swimming pool.
They don't always go down. Sometimes they float.
Yeah.
How then, a bit more detail on how Rishi managed to win over those potentially rebellious MPs on Tuesday?
Well, we saw them all going in to number 10. And there are a number of groups of them, and they describe themselves as the 5 families, as though they were the mafia.
Do you know who the 5 different families are?
Oh, yes. There's the ERG, the NRG...
the Osmonds.
The Osmonds.
So you've got the New Conservatives, featuring Jonathan Gullis, the European Research Group, the Conservative Growth Group, featuring Liz Truss and Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Hang on, you've got to wait. When you say Liz Truss, you get a laugh.
I've always liked the name the European Research Group because it conjures up an image of Jacob Rees-Mogg looking at a baguette through a microscope, you know, just trying to figure out what the hell's going on over there.
What demonstrated the government's desperation to make sure that the votes definitely went their way?
They hauled back from the COP conference someone to vote in this, and then he flew back.
Climate Minister Graham Stewart.
Yeah, so he flew back into the country to vote for something that stops people getting into the country, and then flew back out to vote for something that advises everyone to cut down their flying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, he also flew back from a climate conference to vote for more flights to happen in the future.
To Rwanda.
To Rwanda.
Ah, yes.
So it's
right.
It's just flights upon flights upon.
So the Rwanda thing is like carbon offsetting, then, is it?
According to the Daily Telegraph, so close was the vote that even Peter Bone, currently suspended from the Conservative Party for exposing himself to an aide, came to Parliament. So there were hopes that he might swing it for Rishi.
When you think about exposure, the name Peter Bone is rather unfortunate, isn't it, really?
David Davis also appeared. Here's how he was greeted by the BBC's Chris Mason.
Blimey, the government must have a bit of the collywobbles if they've asked you to come out and bat for them.
After the Rwanda vote, David Davis revealed that on his way home, he intervened to stop an attack on a homeless man near the Houses of Parliament, presumably shouting, "Leave him alone, Suella!" What did Keir Starmer say that Labour's plan was?
Not that.
He said it was to smash the gangs, and he said it a lot.
The first is smashing the gangs, the criminal gangs, and a cross-border police force that can smash the smuggler gangs at source. There are criminal gangs that are driving this, and we have to smash them. Unless and until we're more serious about smashing the gangs, time to smash these gangs.
I mean, he sounds smashed. Hello.
Someone's smashing them. Yeah, go for it, Keir.
Does anyone know why Labour's front bench keeps saying psychodrama?
The Tories are trapped in a psychodrama.
Yeah.
I think they've been told to say this.
I think they have. Let's take a look.
Nobody wants this to be part of a psychodrama in the Conservative Party.
Some terrible psychodrama being played out in the Conservative Party.
We're seeing a psychodrama within the Conservative Party.
It's really not about the psychodrama of the Conservative Party.
It's the latest instalment in a Tory psychodrama.
We're all stuck in their psychodrama.
It would be quite a good show, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Tory psychodrama. Yeah. Musical.
How much money is being spent on this Rwanda lark?
£290 million and counting.
And the 290 million figure is supposed to be for the scheme, but when asked how it breaks down, most of it is a bribe to Rwanda.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. It's aid to this poor place that's so safe that we must send people there and aid them to become safer.
It would actually be cheaper to fly people in from Rwanda, good time in London, see a show, and then put them on the Home Office plane back out to Rwanda.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the week then, Rishi Sunak was giving evidence at the COVID inquiry.
Yeah, he had a great week, didn't he?
He did, didn't he? What was the Prime Minister's main recollection of that pandemic period?
He couldn't remember why we can't look at his WhatsApp messages.
He said when he got a new phone that he lost all those messages. I guess he didn't back them up, but it's like, as if. I mean, Rishi Sunak is a dork, and that's coming from me. This guy backs up his toothbrush. You know, there's no... Rishi Sunak spent all this time painting himself as this competent nerd. He can't have a character change now to the messy bitch. He's like...
He's looking forward to this lucrative career in Silicon Valley that will inevitably happen very, very soon. And then, as he explained how he couldn't work his WhatsApp, you could just see behind his eyes going, oh.
He didn't seem to have much of a memory of what happened at all. Let's just take a little look.
I don't have any strong recollections of the meeting, but it's not something that I recall at the time. Again, I don't recall them doing so. So I don't recall there being a direct relationship. So I don't recall it being a particular feature of the advice. I don't recall any specific conversations, and I don't have any strong recollection of these sets of conversations. I have no recollection of him raising that. I don't recall receiving any formal submission, but I don't recall them ever making a formal submission.
That's just not what occurred, is it?
Well, my recollection is different.
And there are people with dementia who've got more memory than that.
How did Rishi Sunak describe his working relationship with Boris Johnson?
Didn't he say he was very close with homoerotic overtones?
He said, I saw the Prime Minister probably more than I did my own wife.
Oh, yes, so there you go.
There we are.
So he did very well not to catch COVID or indeed get pregnant.
Yeah. True. But they were 2 metres distant.
Well, we don't know... Anyway. We don't know how ambitious they were.
Now, what rather alarmingly did 20% of the population apparently think should happen right now?
Christmas?
Is it an election?
No, they want
not.
to...
It's not an election.
20% of the population want to restore lockdown, don't they?
They do.
And they want COVID restrictions back. Yeah.
Yeah. A poll run by a company called More in Common revealed that 1/5 of the population would like a return to compulsory mask wearing and the closing of pubs and nightclubs.
It's the Methodists.
Yes.
Sticking with stats, what do 1/3 of 18 to 34-year-olds think is a good idea?
Being young?
It's a dictatorship.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, OK.
Good.
This is according to the former head of Channel 4 News, Dorothy Byrne. In a lecture, she claimed that 29% of young people felt that a strong leader who did not hold elections was a good way to run the country.
So do we take the vote away from them to stop dictatorship, or is that the start of a... It's a conundrum, isn't it? It's a conundrum.
So all the problems that Rishi Sunak is now facing are part of what the Mail on Sunday called careful planning by rebels to destabilise him. What are they hoping that December will turn out to be for Rishi?
Is this an advent calendar of shit?
It is.
It is, yeah.
And we've got more of that coming up in round 2.
Yeah. Thankfully not available in the shop.
So this is the Rwanda vote in the Commons this week. The bill will now undergo further scrutiny from lawyers and members of the so-called Star Chamber. And if there's still no clear conclusion, the decision will rest with the highest court in the land, Gary Lineker's Twitter feed. According to the Daily Mail, Rishi Sunak's attempt to woo potential rebels began with a breakfast meeting over bacon sandwiches. Sources close to the Prime Minister included HP and ketchup.
That's really good.
The breakfast meeting paid off, though. There was an awkward moment when a Downing Street aide passed a plate to Rishi saying, "You're toast." Paul and Armando, take a look at this.
Well attended. This is the COP conference, isn't it?
Yeah, I saved crude oil.
I don't know much about this because I've been all week in pantomime where the baddies get flushed down the loo at the end of the show and the goodies succeed, unlike the real world, unfortunately. So off you go.
No. Well, that kind of sort of is what happened.
Is it?
That they tried to save the world. They've come up with an agreement, but it's been watered down.
Yes.
Rather like the planet will be if you don't get this fossil. But
yes.
That's fundamentally it, yeah.
It's sort of pantomime, isn't it? We're going to phase out fossil fuels.
Oh, no,
we're not.
Yes, they've changed the language on fossil fuels, so they're going to transition from fossil fuels.
It's almost as if it was held in Dubai. I mean, that's like having an AA meeting in Wetherspoons. You know what I mean?
They said they were going to phase them out, and then they changed the language.
Yes.
Because no one could agree. And then they were going to phase down.
That was Glasgow, was phased down. And,
phased down.
And Dubai is transition.
Transition away.
Yeah.
I think that's what RuPaul says at the end of...
Yes. That's right. It means coal can now self-identify as wind power.
Oh, right.
And that's absolutely fine. It's fine.
Of course, in America, fossil fuel is what they call Joe Biden's breakfast. Why are the Saudis not happy?
Why aren't the Saudis happy? Did no one die? Just saying. Not much fun of an event, is it?
The Saudis are not happy because they, along with other OPEC countries, lobbied to have the words fossil fuels removed from the agreement. But according to The Telegraph, it was met with a widespread backlash. According to ITV News, the debate amongst COP delegates was so intense that talks went on until 3 a.m. burning the midnight oil, which, of course...
Yep, again.
COP28 has seen a lot of infighting between countries, but this is what happens when you ask AI to show you some world leaders just getting together and having a bit of fun.
It's Friday. Start drinking.
You're applauding that?
Yes. I think some of that was fake.
Too well choreographed to be faked.
Yeah. What was the point of that?
Just have a laugh.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
It shows you there's no new idea. You probably remember this, Ian. There was, during the late 30s, I think, with the British... they doctored some footage of Hitler.
Yeah.
This is he was dancing the hokey-cokey by running the film backwards and forwards. So no ideas are old or new. They're all the same.
I was a teenager. I loved it.
Yeah.
But this AI, why is Trump thin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just asking Kirsty.
Well, we should ask Phil, because he's the tech guy.
Oh, wow. I mean, I know I have this face, but... probably because AI is not actually all that good yet at images and that sort of thing. I mean...
This is up there with Rishi Sunak's answer.
How's Donald Trump making a bit of extra cash these days?
He's selling off bits of his suit that he wore in his mugshot when he was arrested.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's like pieces of the True Cross.
Yes.
He's selling indulgences.
Let's take a little look at how Donald is selling it.
It is an authentic piece of the suit I wore when I took that now famous mugshot, and it was a great suit, believe me, a really good suit. It's all cut up, and you're gonna get a piece of it. I wish I looked as good as I do on those cards, that I can tell you. They give me muscles where, believe me, I don't have them.
It doesn't exactly scream billionaire to be selling shreds of your own clothes.
There aren't that many pieces of a suit that you can sell, really. Unless, of course, it's more than one suit. Oh.
He wouldn't do that, would he?
Mightn't he?
No.
Do you think he's faking it?
No, it could be a miracle.
Pieces of the true suit.
The true suit, yeah.
Donald Trump is selling pieces cut from the suit he wore when he had his mugshot taken. A lot of Donald Trump's suits have been cut up before, mainly by an angry Melania. In other news, Vladimir Putin is running for president again.
He's running for re-election.
That's right.
In a tightly run race. Yeah. And his slogan is, I probably won't kill you.
I wonder what the election night coverage is like in Russia. Pretty quick.
There's an exit poll in which the opposition leave through a window. Thank you very much. I'm in Richmond all week.
On jury duty.
I'm not allowed to do jury duty.
Are you? Is it because you're often confused with a defendant?
Why has he chosen this week to announce that he's running for another term?
This is when he does his end-of-year press conference, I think, isn't it?
And he hasn't done one for a few years. He did 4 hours of answering questions. You can ask anything you like if you don't want to live.
Yeah.
According to Newsweek, some of the things he got thrown were, tell us when our lives will get better, and when will the war end, to which Putin replied, what war? He also got asked, if Crimea is part of Russia, why does my mobile network switch on roaming after crossing the bridge to Crimea? Putin told the fellow to pop on his location services and someone would be along to help him out. This is the COP28 Climate Summit. Scientists have warned that solar storms could have a serious effect on our transport systems, flipping signals from red to green and green to red. This will cause havoc for trains and cars, although cyclists will just carry on regardless. According to scientists, in the near future, solar storms could cause train accidents, so it's red sky at night, shepherd's delight, and red sky in the morning, replacement bus warning. It's time now for round 2 and the Advent calendar of news.
most perfect note of sarcasm.
I want you to pick a door to open and then tell me what story is behind the door. Ian, would you like to pick a door to open?
Are they doors? They're meant to be windows.
They're actually little drawers.
OK, grumpy Scrooge over. Hey, Advent! I'd like number 10, please, Kirsty.
Here we go, number 10.
No! Why didn't we just have that, then? Why did
It's health and safety, isn't it? There's a World Meat Pie Eating Championship, and they think it's a bit risky for people to be eating that many pies because people might choke. They might choke on the fillings, they might choke on the pastry, they might take their eye out with a piece of, you know, sharpened mushroom. So, I mean, anything could happen, anything could go wrong.
Spot on.
Yeah.
The World Pie Eating Championships are held in a pub in Wigan every year.
Yeah.
According to pie eating organiser Tony Callaghan, his own health and safety officer tried to ban speed eating on the pub premises. Callaghan reacted by saying that his colleague went well woke on me, adding, "She's got a right gob on her." Which is why, presumably, she's also favourite to win the competition.
Yeah.
What are the new rules, then?
You can only eat it, but with a straw.
Yeah.
Competitors in the speed eating competition have been told that they need to chew each mouthful of pie 30 times before they swallow. And how has Tony tried to get around the 30 chew regulation?
In the usual way. I can't even be bothered to answer. I really don't care. If this is what's happened in the Advent calendar, this is the first question. God knows what lies behind the other 23. If it started off with this... You can tell the BBC isn't getting the licence fee it was expecting.
He's introducing a new rule where competitors nibble at their pies for a set period of time, after which we'll blow a whistle and it's a sprint to the finish.
Oh, it's obvious once you say it.
Yeah. What else have the tofu-eating wokerati forced the competition to change?
The fillings?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes.
Wow, to be more, like, diverse?
Well, Wigan today reported that it's been changed from beef and onion to chicken following flatulence issues post-previous contests. Despite Tony's apparent disregard for health and safety, what strict rules does he make sure the pies adhere to?
They're dead?
They're a certain diameter?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
OK.
According to Wigan today, the cooked dimensions of the official regulation pie are a 12-centimetre diameter, a 3.5-centimetre depth, and a pie wall angle from base to top of between 0 and 15 degrees. And here's a bit of action from the competition.
Yeah.
Remember, no spillage. Getcha. Getcha. Empty gob, remember, hand up with an empty gob.
Did you say this was a world pie?
Yeah. It doesn't feel global, does it?
No, it doesn't. It just looks like 12 people throwing up in Wigan.
Yeah.
What have been some of the past controversies in the World Pie Eating Championships?
That it occurs.
In 2007, the tournament was nearly called off after a dog ate 20 competition pies whilst his owner was distracted by a pigeon flying up the chimney.
Clearly, the pigeon and the dog were working in cahoots.
What have Tesco accidentally put in their Christmas...
Moths! Moths!
They've put it in their Christmas stuffing, yeah.
Right. They've got moths in their Christmas stuffing. Yeah, exactly. You stuff it up the turkey and then it flies out the window. They've got moths in their stuffing.
That's right. They've recalled a batch of their apple and cranberry fineness stuffing on safety grounds as it might contain moths.
Yes.
A spokesperson apologised, saying that this is the last thing our customers want during the holy season. This is the World Pie Eating Championships. According to the organisers, the speed eating competition has changed the filling of its pies due to flatulence issues, which had, in the past, led to several records not counting as they were wind-assisted.
Dear.
You've been doing panto all week.
Our material's better than this. Oh, no, it isn't.
Armando, would you like to pick a door to open?
Yeah, I'll go for 15.
Oh, yeah, good choice. This is about swearing on television. There's too much... Well, there has been an increase in swearing, according to some twat.
Most of it was on the COVID inquiry.
Yeah, oh yes, that was great fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, a survey of 60,000 TV shows and films from the last 40 years shown on British television has showed that the annual number of swear words has rocketed from 5,000 to more than 60,000.
But have you noticed how the audience's interest has gone down and now we've gone away from the World Pie Eating Championship?
Ofcom has a list of swear words ranked by order of offence. Did anyone hear how BBC Radio 4 chose to discuss that on air recently? Let's have a little listen.
Let's see how far we can get through. Bloody. Cow. Crap. Damn. F.
I had a sketch show on Radio 4 a few years ago, and it was a bit puerile, and one episode ended with just George, one of the others, just farting. And it went straight to the continuity announcer, who sighed.
We'll take a look at a graph so you can see how potty-mouthed television has become.
Yeah.
What happened in 2005?
I expect it was Armando's series of The Thick of It.
I'm so sorry. There was a lot of to and froing with the editorial people at the BBC who actually negotiated a fuck per ratio. If I brought the ratio down, the average down to from like 40 fucks every 5 minutes to 20, I could have 2 more.
I mean, and that negotiation is exactly the same on the reshuffle of the cabinet.
And finally, would you like to see University Challenges announcer Roger Tilling do his best impression of a chicken? Oh,
yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes. Here we go.
Would.
Back Macmillan. Back Macmillan. Back Macmillan. Back Macmillan. Back Macmillan.
This is the news that there's an epidemic of swearing on television. There has been such a backlash to the level of inappropriate language on TV that the BBC have now decided to cancel Country File. It is time now for the odd one out round. Paul and Armando, your 4 are King Charles I, Tory MP Ben Everett, Ian Wright and Boris Johnson.
Well, this is the one and only time that my A-level history is coming into play. Charles I, I know, upon his execution, wore some thick undergarments so that if he shivered or looked cold, he didn't want the crowd to think that he was, you know, scared or worried. Is that sort of in the right area?
Very much, yes.
OK. And Ian Wright was recently appearing on a TV show wearing one of those new sort of coats that's like an eider-down, very cold. Any further ideas?
I think he was just sleeping rough.
Yes.
That MP, he posed topless.
Topless, yes.
So he must have been quite cold.
Ah, so the MP must be the only one, because the other 3 have taken precautions to stop themselves getting cold.
That's exactly it.
Boris has never taken any precautions.
Yeah, you've absolutely got it spot on. They've all put on extra clothing to keep warm, apart from Tory MP Ben Everett, who has been taking his clothes off. And here is a picture of Ben Everett.
That is AI generated.
Why did he do that?
Some people say it's because he's doing what's described as a thirst trap.
What's that?
Obviously, Ian, you know what that is. Do you want to explain to the rest of us?
I know what a thirst trap is. Yeah. Phil?
It's just a sexy pic, basically.
Oh, sexy pic.
So you know sexy pics.
Yeah, sexy pics.
Yeah.
I send them all the time.
That's why you're not allowed on juries.
Yeah. Damn.
So what issue did Everett get accused of ignoring?
A local issue that he should have been doing.
Yeah.
Was it potholes?
It's a little bit more serious than that. According to the local council leader, Everett hasn't done anything about a proposal to dump nuclear waste in Milton Keynes. You commented, Paul, that Ian Wright needed that extra layer. Yeah, you were right. He was commentating on a recent game. He made sure that he didn't get cold by wearing this coat.
It contains warm air, or maybe he's just been taking part of the World Meat Pie eating champion.
According to The Sun, the coat costs £2,000.
Ooh.
It's worth it, though, because in the summer he's not going to have to buy a lilo, is he? And when did King Charles I need to layer up?
Upon his execution, which was
Exactly.
1640... let me see, 1649?
You can say anything you like, because I don't have the date here.
Oh.
Have we got any topless pictures of Charles?
Yeah.
Sadly not.
Well, his head came off, so...
And he got a letter right towards the end. He said, just put it in the basket, I'll read it later.
What has Boris Johnson worn recently that caused a stir?
Oh, the hat going into the COVID inquiry.
Let's see, what do these initials stand for, do we think?
It's Grimsby Town Football Club.
It is, that's right. He got given it as a gift by a Grimsby MP and had previously told the Grimsby Telegraph that when it comes to headwear, it's what I grabbed when I ran out of the house, and to rub salt into the wound, it was the husband's favourite hat.
They've objected.
Yeah.
I bet they have.
Because they don't want to be associated with someone so utterly disgraceful.
Some people thought it was a good advert for the town, but local John Dale started a petition calling for Johnson to stop wearing the hat in public, adding that the former MP was using Grimsby to add lustre and glamour to his life.
Exactly.
So they've all put on extra clothing to keep warm, apart from Tory MP Ben Everett, who has been taking his clothes off. Here is the Tory MP, topless, and in just a few months, he'll be seatless. Ian and Phil, your four are a panto in Cheltenham, Joe Pasquale, a Northampton Town DJ, and Jeremy Hunt.
A gig, is this something that's happened during a performance?
We know that Joe Pasquale sings songs sometimes.
Ah, now, I think this... Did you say... Where did you say the DJ was from? Was it Northampton Town Football Club?
It is, yeah.
Now, yes, I saw this story, because this was... this must be the key to it. There is some game that people play. They try to see how far they can get through the Christmas holiday without hearing Last Christmas by Wham. And he played it during the half-time of a match recently, and 7,000 people in the crowd were very annoyed because they were trying to avoid hearing Last Christmas, and he played it. So I imagine Joe Pasquale sung it. I should imagine that the goose in Cheltenham's probably sung it, and Jeremy Hunt's just there to make up the numbers. So he's the odd one out.
You're right, he is the odd one out. They've all annoyed people with a song, apart from Jeremy Hunt, who has annoyed people with his singing. Do we know when Jeremy Hunt might have annoyed people with his singing?
Was he on The Masked Singer?
No, during an interview on Classic FM, the Chancellor revealed I was thrown out of the school choir because I couldn't sing in tune. Jeremy Hunt really let his hair down with this Classic FM interview. What did he admit to wearing under his suit during the interview?
Was it another suit?
No, it was...
Oh, no, a Superman outfit.
Ish. It was a white T-shirt. When he first became an MP, Hunt used to go to salsa classes after work, where he would arrive and take off his suit, just like Superman.
Another superhero, like Braver Man.
To the Dormobile.
But it's not just like Superman, because Superman didn't take his suit off.
No, Clark Kent did, yeah.
To do a salsa class.
Yeah,
he
no, he didn't do that.
No.
Never.
That'd be a terrible superpower.
Yeah.
To do salsa.
And you were quite right, Paul. The Northampton Town FC DJ, Matt Facer, a.k.a. DJ Matty, had to apologise for playing Wham's Last Christmas. Every year, people take part in a game called Whamageddon, where they try to avoid the song Last Christmas for as long as possible during the festive period. And when DJ Matty played the song at Northampton Town FC Stadium this weekend, it knocked out 7,215 people. What do participants call the act of losing the game?
Wham out to...
They say they've been sent to Whamhalla.
Is anyone in the audience currently playing Whamageddon?
Are we going to play it now?
Well, you know, we wanted to play it, but we were told by the music publishers that we'd have to pay them 10 grand if we wanted to play it, so we're not going to play it.
What if we sing it?
You go right ahead.
I've never heard it, so I've no idea.
Joe Pasquale famously sang the tune, I Know a Song That Will Get On Your Nerves. We would play a verse of that song, but Pasquale would have to pay us 10 grand to play it. What was offensive about a song in a pantomime in Cheltenham? It was a production of Mother Goose, if that helps.
Did it mention pate? And upset the children?
It was insulting to vegans. A performance of Mother Goose at the Everyman's Theatre included a song with the lines, the G in vegan stands for gassy, and the A stands for either anemic or annoying. And the objection was made by a vegan schoolgirl and her father. There would have been more complaints, but the other offended vegans, they just didn't have the energy. They've all annoyed people with a song, apart from Jeremy Hunt, who has annoyed people with his singing. The now traditional game of Whamageddon was ruined for 7,000 people by the half-time DJ at Northampton Town FC, where, coincidentally, another traditional game usually gets ruined. Football. It is time now for the Missing Words Round, which this week features as its guest publication Professional Pest Controller, the magazine for members of the British Pest Control Association. The problem with it is, even if you try and cancel your subscription, it just keeps coming back. And we start with man caught smuggling what in his pants through airport customs?
Over 100 millilitres of urine.
I did read this. It was ants.
Not budgies.
Not budgies.
Budgies, smuggling budgies. And they all started flying, and they all started flying at the same time, and he took off over Terminal 4. Is it ants? Is it what Ian said? Is it ants?
It's not.
Oh,
there
not
was
ants.
a story about a man. He'd got a sort of antarium built into his pants.
Ants in his pants?
Yeah, literally.
Do you have a source for this story?
I have two sources.
Yes.
HP
and Hans Christian Andersen.
The answer is 2 otters and a prairie dog. This...
And he was caught.
This is the news of a man detained at Bangkok airport for trying to smuggle 2 otters and a prairie dog back to Taipei in his underpants. Airport X-ray machines picked up the footage of the animals, as well as a cameraman for Planet Earth 4, who'd been filming inside the traveller's boxer shorts for the last 8 months.
You cannot smuggle 2 otters and a prairie dog in your pants. And believe me, I've tried. You can get through at Luton because they're not so hot and secure.
Next, what will be on the table at the House of Lords Christmas party?
10 of them are leaping.
Is it Peter Mandelson? Venison.
Venison.
Swan. Human flesh.
Crackerless crackers will be on the table at the House of Lords.
It says crackless.
Crackless crackers.
Yeah, crackerless crackers would just be no crackers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be yeah.
Although, to be fair, a House of Lords Christmas party has a lot of crackers in it.
Crackers in the House of Lords now won't make any noise following complaints from several members that last year the bangs were so loud they almost woke up. Next, pest control photo of the year, what?
Is a rat holding a sign saying, if you let me go, I'll tell you where the others are.
Pest control photo of the year is Jacob Rees-Mogg wearing a muzzle.
Pest control photo of the year won by a mouse hiding in a car air vent. Here is the winning photo.
Oh. You say hiding,
I'd say shoved.
Next. Woman surprised to see what in puddle?
Reflection. It's one of those odd things. Donald Trump shaving a goat.
Rishi Sunak doing laps.
Woman surprised to see rapper Snoop Dogg. Here is the puddle.
No.
Next, Scottish locals sent emergency alert about what in the area?
Sunshine.
Cockroaches.
Scottish locals sent emergency alert about great white shark in the area. Yes, this is the news that a warning alert for a great white shark was sent to a small town near Inverness instead of its namesake in New Zealand. News of the shark sent the entire town of Fortrose in Scotland into a panic as the locals desperately tried to gather together enough flour, eggs and milk to batter it.
I'm glad it's you doing that.
I know. And finally, Timothée Chalamet says what is the most attractive in Britain?
The Hull accent.
Yes, this is the news that the actor and heartthrob Timothée Chalamet has claimed the sexiest accent in Britain originates in Hull. He's got a point. I mean, remember the 90s? Whenever John Prescott opened his mouth.
You said that with feeling. You meant that, didn't you? You meant that.
Everyone's got their hidden corners.
So, yeah.
So, the final scores are Ian and Phil.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Paul and Armando have 10.
Yes.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition. Ian and Phil have this.
Labour celebrate inaugural Bring Your Mum to Work Day.
Well, there's two captions for this, isn't there? Keir Starmer lookalike competition attracts unusual entrant, or Elton John lookalike contest. One or the other. One or the other.
Paul and Armando get that.
Oh, I know this one. The nun on the left is saying, until I sat down, I thought Bishop's finger was a drink.
That's one for the kids at the panto.
Yeah. It's obvious. You can see the look on her face. Look. That's been the highlight of my career, that bit.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Phil Wang, Paul Merton and Armando Iannucci. And I leave you with news that, despite protests from animal rights groups, the great Marvo and his performing zebra insist there is no cruelty in his act. In Stoke, MP Jonathan Gullis regrets giving the government a hard time over the Rwanda bill as Rishi Sunak sends the Gullis family some Christmas presents.
Every day!
And in Windsor, royal insiders realise that Queen Camilla may be losing focus a little as she asks the most pointless, and what do you do, ever? Good night.
OK, you can carry
Two?
On. Two, yeah. And that's just for turning up.
Yeah. Well, I won't bother next time.
It actually means you're out. Someone else next time.
No. We'll always be in.
It's Christmas.
Although there was some informal talk about replacing him with a budgie, but I said no. It's a glove puppet or nothing.